What I'm doing here is I'm going to do some steel repair on the cab. This is the front windshield frame. As you can see, it's a little bit rotted out, so I'm going to replace this whole section right here. I'm going to make a whole new piece. I'm going to weld it along this edge, bend it and make it uniform along the bottom. And then I'll make another piece for the inside, because the inside is basically the same as this. So unfortunately I don't have a tripod anymore because my wonderful apprentice managed to knock it over and break it. Fortunately the camera survived, but you're just gonna have to bear with me while I kind of do things in between doing shots here. So I measured out the length of the piece that we need, and I got about a piece that's 20 inches by 2.5. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the bottom flange for the windshield and then make a bend along here, and then we'll see how it fits. Okay, so sans tripod, you're in the vise. Hope you like your perspective. Okay, that should do. Let's go see how that fits. Okay, so it's fitting pretty good. The angle is pretty bang on, close enough anyways. I'm thinking that's going to be good. So what I'm going to do now is basically cut out the piece that I'm going to replace. Now, I think I'll go right to that edge. I'll go right to that edge right there. So I'm just going to mark it out, and then I'm going to cut it a little bit inside, well, basically right on the line. There's a little bit of a bend on this part of the, it doesn't quite go straight. It's not exactly straight. So I've kind of tweaked it just a tiny bit just by eye to get it close. And then once I clamp it in to weld it, I'll just kind of work my way along the side and then clamp it and bend it to the contour as I go welding it in. So hopefully that works. I think it's gonna work. If there's any sheet metal guys out there that can tell me if I'm doing it wrong, please feel free to sound off in the comments. Otherwise, we're gonna go. Just gonna give her. Okay, so I have the outline cut out. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my grinding wheel or my sanding wheel and basically just sand down what's left of these spot welds that are holding this piece to the inside piece. And then I'm gonna take off this piece while leaving the inside piece intact, and that's gonna give me the reference where I want to go to for this outside piece. And then once I get the outside piece in, then I'll go on the inside and do the exact same process on the inside. I got the piece cut out. What's left of the back, there's not really much left of it, but it's still there. And then there's this nice big old chunk of solid steel to give us a nice reference to where I got to clamp it to bend it, so that'll be good. So I'm just going to go ahead and start fitting my piece in here and start tacking it up, and hopefully I don't shit the bed. Alright, so I got it tacked in every couple inches or so. So I'm basically just doing one spot weld every couple inches, try and keep the heat down so it doesn't warp on me. So I'll be tacking this all up until it's all fully welded, and then I'll sand it down, and if there's any imperfections that I need to fix with the welder, I will do that. And hopefully if I do this right when I'm done, you won't even be able to notice that there was a repair. Okay, so I got it all welded in. Looks pretty good. Turns out it's a good thing I gave it an extra 1/8 of an inch, because it's basically bang on that end, and I have just a tiny bit extra on that end. So note to self, always give yourself an extra 1/8 of an inch when you're bending. I'm going to go ahead and sand this up and see how it looks, and hopefully it'll look nice and smooth. Okay, so there she is, all welded in. I had to do just a couple of little touch-up fills with the welder. The seam is pretty much perfect there. There's a couple of tiny little rough spots above where I welded right there that'll have to be filled in, but with you know, body filler, but that's all right. Okay, so here's the back window. Got a few rod holes to repair. I took the heavy knotted wire wheel to it, and this is what we got. So most of the top is okay, just the bottom needs a bunch of work, and a little bit of the left side, and a little bit on the top left corner. Okay, so here's the first piece I repaired. It could be better, it could be worse, I guess. I had a little bit too much heat and I got a little bit of warpage. It's not quite perfectly flat, but a little bit of Duraglass and it'll be perfect. Where the window goes in is more or less perfect. Now this one here I've started to cut out. I cut that one right in between the spot welds, and this one here I actually put 2 more spot welds in as well. But I cut this one right between the spot welds, and then I'll probably put a couple more in there just to hold my piece in. I tried making one big long piece and then cutting it into lengths, but my teeny little brake press doesn't like to bend pieces that long, so I made like a 6-inch piece and I'll cut it into these 3 pieces. I hope I can do with my first piece, and then I'll cut 1 piece for here, maybe another piece from here to there, and then another piece from there to the corner. So I have all the gussets welded into the cab. I'm hoping this is going to be adequate. I think it should be. Got an X from the bottom to the back to the top. So it's pretty rigid. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the floor out. I'm going to lift the cab up, probably, I don't know, hang it from its side maybe, and chop the floor out. Okay, so there it is. I decided to stand it up on the front, basically on the firewall, and relatively secure on the pallet. We'll go ahead and start chopping that floor out.